Alright, everybody. Welcome to my ongoing coverage of the Boston Chess Congress 2026. This is the second round against Salah Bouillon. He was, I think, 12 years old from New York, and chatted with him a bit. Afterward, very, very nice guy. He had a British accent or some type of accent, probably British. I'm going to show you the game. But first, I want to tell you a little story. And here it is. I drove to the Chess Congress, if you remember my round one, where I said I parked a mile away and I walked in the 10-degree weather. Well, I learned that, of course, that they validate parking, it's only $10. So this time around, I was like, aha, I'm going to drive and I can park and I won't have to freeze my butt off before my game starts. I get to the Hyatt 5 minutes before the round's supposed to start. I drove on off. And there was a long line of cars outside the parking. So I was like, uh-oh. I skipped the line because I'm like, bros, let's get to the bottom of this. And I saw an attendant, and I was like, yo, what is going on here? And he's like, sorry, the event parking is full. Are you a member of the hotel? And I said, no. Obviously, I should have lied. I didn't. He said, sorry then, your best bet is to go to central parking. And I was like, yeah, I'm not paying for that if I'm going off. I know where I'm going. So I drove back to the public parking where I went yesterday. I walked another mile, but this time I arrived to my game 20 minutes late. Now, it's really disappointing I was 20 minutes late because it really wasn't my fault. You know what I mean? Literally, they closed the event parking. But here's where the story gets even more interesting. I show up, I see my pairing, again, Salah Bouillon, and the guy I played last night, Eckstut, is sitting there, looking like a sad little boy with no opponent. And I look over the board where I'm supposed to be playing, and some random dude has been playing there. I was like, excuse moi? And then we had to call the tournament director over, and they had to have a whole big thing. And the guy's like, I don't know, 14 moves have passed. Why don't you just play this kid over here? And I said, I just played that guy. I played him last night. And they were like, oh, I see. And there was a 5-minute big thing. And I said to the two, and again, they were little boys playing, Salah and the other guy. They must have been 12 and 13. I said, children, say hello to one another before you start your game and say, hi, my name is, what is your name? I said, then this problem would have been solved. And they again, are very, very quiet and whatnot. Anyway, look, I feel like I could write a book on just social etiquette because it's really not hard. You know what I mean? Communication is really not hard. Anyway, finally got to the bottom of it. They penalized the guy who sat in my seat all the time. So I should have been 20 minutes on my clock. Not really my fault, but because of the event parking. But instead, this guy got the 20-minute penalty. And Salah and I started with brand new clocks. I kind of felt like it was justice in the world. But yeah, so that's kind of the start beforehand. My opponent, we chatted after. We broke down the game. It was nice. He told me that his online ratings and everything are quite a bit lower than mine, to be honest. It's funny, he didn't really ask me any questions, but I asked him a bunch of questions and he just told me a lot of stuff, I guess. I don't know. Maybe there's a lack of curiosity on the other end. Basically, I sort of knew all about his chess skills, what positions he enjoys, all this stuff. Nonetheless, we get down, we start to play our game. Oh, and the other thing as well, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention this. There was one kid, he's in my section, and this guy must have the flu or something. Every 20 seconds, he's sneezing and coughing. And I'm going to be honest. Those of you that watch my videos, you may not know my politics, but they are incredibly left. However, if I ran a tournament, I would be incredibly fascist. And I would kick out anyone that's coughing that fucking much. And the reason why is I don't want to get sick, and it's really distracting. I just feel like if somebody is going to be that much of a nuisance, get them the fuck out of there. I'd kick their asses out, basically. So this one kid who's sick, he really shouldn't be playing. And unfortunately, he sat 2 boards away, both games today. Again, this is my round 2 that I'm going to go over. Anyway, long-winded way of saying, it's really annoying. There should be a little bit of public decorum and decency. If you're sick, you shouldn't fucking play in a chess hall with other people. You don't want to get them sick, and you don't want to distract them. There you go. That's my 2 cents. Oh, also, I flagged down the guy that was playing that I think stole my pawn, and I had a conversation with him, and he was like, sorry, I have red pawns, and he does. So what I'm thinking now is the pawn must have fallen to the ground and got swept away or something. So I've just lost a pawn, and I'm going to have to find myself a new pawn. So, all right, now that that preamble is out of the way, let us get to the meat of it. What's funny is my opponent in the morning, or the early afternoon, I guess it's 11 o'clock, that's the morning, Salah, 12 years old or whatever, and said that he likes positional play, but like mostly young kids supposed to play tactically. And then round 3, I'll play an old guy who's 70 years old, nice guy. I'll talk about him when we get to that video. And he was like, when we broke down the game, he's like, yeah, I only do tactics. So it's like you can't really play the stereotypes. You really should just play your own game, because this kid was all about like wanting to do positional play, and the old guy wanted to do all the tactical lines. So all right, I also opened up my E4 training. We're gonna get this position. I practice this a lot, and it's funny because I just know I play this so much online. I just know all these lines are totally fine. They look awkward, but I'm basically really booked up. So I'm gonna take the analysis, the engine off the machine. Let's go through the game. This game I think was less interesting than round 2, but than round 3. But I think it was more interesting than round 1. But we'll see. All right. E4, D6, I play my quasi perk. He plays D4. I'm going to go knight F6. Best move. He plays knight E3. That is a good. Wait, knight E3. What? Why did I write knight E3? He played knight F3. Okay, well. Or maybe played knight C3? Okay, that makes more sense. Right, because then you just lose the pawn. Well, we get to do this again. Rocher Gambit. Nice. All right. Oh, by the way, this guy's rating is like 1500 or 1509, but he's a kid. So he told me, and basically he was really nice. He said, I know that a lot of people think that young kids were underrated, but I think my rating is rather accurate. I don't play the classical that much, but I'll be honest, I think that I played a fair number of weekend tournaments, and I do okay, but I think I'm pretty much a solid 1500. Anyway, so that was, and I said, oh, okay. And I didn't even, ask him. He just told me that. So, all right. He plays E4, and that is exactly what he sounded like, by the way. Exactly. D6. He plays D4. I play knight F6. You know what? I also think my cat Sebastian might be losing a tooth. It's really bad when an adult cat loses a tooth, but yeah, I'm a little bit worried about him. All right. I really don't have the stomach to have any cat issues for a long time, to be honest. All right, E5, he needs to just be okay. When I play E5, this is not the best move, takes. It's just the one that's most common, at least online. Takes, and the reason why is takes, we get this setup, takes. This is all forcing, so I've studied this. I've studied this position a lot, because I get this online a lot. And when I say a lot, obviously, A, I have to be black. B, they have to play E4. Already, that's like, down to only a quarter of the games. Then they have to follow with D4 after play F6. That's hardly a given. A lot of people don't do that. A lot of people, develop the knight. Then when I get into the setup, pushing, then they have to take. So, maybe, if I play, 20 games in a night, which I'll easily do because I play a lot of bullet, then this position will come up at least once. I'll say it like that. So, it's definitely one of the more well-practiced versions. Because it's all forcing. So I know from here, I know that white has a lot of moves. He ended up going bishop to, what did he do? To G5. Which is like a normal move. And if you see versus bishop G5, it's the one I practice most. You just go bishop E6. That's what I did. You want to get, your own light square bishop, activate it. I can't draw arrows. I'm also pretty tired. I just played 2 classical games. He trades. I trade, that's fine. And if they castle, which is what they do, again, especially online, it's very natural. You can just play redeveloping moves. And this is the best move as well, D7. And it looks like black might be in a little bit of trouble, but you're not. You're going to play C6, you're going to play king C7. You have ideas of pushing your queen side. White is not even really developed. This really is not a problem. And if I can land bishop to c5, this is a very important diagonal, then I might even be better. So, all right, so I know all this. I played the first 8 moves in a minute. He played very fast too, which is so surprising, because, and then against knight f3, I think I have this move as well. Yeah, use the dark square bishop as a super pawn, and after more pins, we just make sure that we get this light square bishop, and it's all good. And that's exactly what happened, by the way. So he kind of fell into my prep. in the sense that I know that these are the best computer moves. I know that I'm fine here. So there's a real feeling of comfort when I arrive 8 moves in. I've used no time clock, and I know that I've already neutralized. So that's kind of why you do the opening prep. Why you learn your openings. By the way, what did I want to say about this guy? Oh yeah, he was blitzing the opening too, and like he was a young kid. Like I know young kids do play fast, but like word to the wise. As soon as you see a move you don't know what to do, you really need to think about it. Like I have been doing that. All these moves I know, so I've been blitzing. But as soon as I encounter a move where I'm out of prep, I stop. And like that's what people need to do. So this kid was just blitzing, and like the moves he made were like natural. Those are like very solid moves. But he really probably should have been thinking about it. Anyway, he now finally trades the bishop for my knight. Obviously take back. He said, I was testing you. I was wondering if you were going to take with the knight. I thought I was going to have a very easy game by just taking with the pawn because you're pinned. And I said, yeah, I'm never going to do that. He's like, well, I was just testing you. And I said, okay. But like, and another thing as well, in classical, don't test people. Just try to play the best move. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So that's what happened. So I think I played the best move. G takes. He now goes bishop e2. This is not the best move. And this is finally where I started thinking. And the reason why is this is not the best move in the position. I told him that what are some ideas that he wants. I thought maybe bishop to b5 is threatening because I can't play c6 because the rook comes down. So it's like a more natural, more aggressive spot to develop the bishop. I thought that was the better move. Again, I want to play c6, but I can't yet. I have to untangle my position first. So when he made it very easy, when he played bishop e2, I thought I was just like, very, very solid. A few other ideas in this position is obviously getting ready to double the rooks. Something like a king b8, b1 is always a very useful move. Even moving the knight to b5 to try to trade it off for the bishop to try to get, to get me to not have the bishop pair. Basically, in this position, guys, he's given me the bishop pair so that he could double my pawns. Although my king is technically less safe because it's in the middle of the board. With queens off, the king in the middle board is not a weakness. So that's kind of like, that's the theory here. Like, that's the basic theory. Now that he castled, want to storm on this side. I want to get my pawns rolling. And he's too slow to attack me here. So, like, that's the theory. That's kind of what we're playing for. All right. When he played bishop e2, I seize my opportunity, and I play, a bishop c5, and a very simple reason. I want to break free. I want to break free. Like that. I'm obviously attacking the pawn. I calculated that he would just play rook h to f1. Very passive. When I was calculating, I was always considering a move like bishop g8. It's funny, rook g8. We talked about this, and I basically said, like, every time it was my move, I was considering it. But I thought after very simple g3, I thought this was an improving move for my opponent. Because I thought that a big idea in his position is to basically try to get his knight to f5. It's a good way where, like, we trade, where I lose the bishop pair, and it's kind of forced as well. And I thought if I developed the rook to g8, this plan was just stymied. So I didn't think that was helpful. So that's why I didn't do it. But I was always like calculating that. I also know I want to play c6. So my calculation was put the bishop over to threaten the pawn. He moves the rook. Now I can play c6, and then the c6 with the idea of b5. And then I would scoot my king on over to c7, and I would say life is gravy. And that's exactly the setup that I was going for the record. Anyway, I play bishop c5. He plays now he plays knight to d5, and he said, "Oh, I was just testing you again. Just kind of checking. I figured if you traded and I traded, then I would win a piece." And I said, "Yeah, I'm not going to do that." He said, "Because if you go for my pawn, I just double up, and boom, I'm going to take your knight." And he's starting this. So I thought I didn't have many moves here. Obviously, I can move the king to either square. I want to get it to c7, so I just make what I think is like the very natural, obvious move, king c8. Just slide it away. Now this is on pre, and now I am maybe threatening to take, because then I could basically just move my knight back to b6, so I think he has to do something about it. He plays rook h f1. Now he plays rook h f1, so now he's basically penciling in the pawn. But I thought his position was really passive. I think this bishop is misplaced. I think the rook doesn't really belong here either. And I just said, all right, I'm going to go along with my plan. I'm going to eject his knight, thinking that he just has to move back. If he moved to e3, I actually don't even know if I would trade. Trade. He's got these doubled pawns, but they're in the middle of the board, and I'd have to give up my bishop here for it. So I actually don't think I would have traded, for the record. But then again, he can then maybe land it on f5. I don't know. But it didn't come down to it because he just played knight c3. And I said, okay. I looked at the position. I know that I want to basically centralize my king mostly to just connect my rooks. So I do it. I wasn't really thinking too much else in this position. I know I'm going to get my pawns rolling, but I thought I'd prepare it first. And the king is really safe on c7. Like, this is the ideal square. Again, if I can kind of box out like this, we can maybe trade a pair of rooks. If I can ever trade a pair of rooks and I win that pawn, I'm just winning. And I've won many blitz games like that. All right, this ain't blitz, though. He plays knight h4, which is, not a bad move, I think. Again, he's trying to basically box it on into f5. And I kind of do the, well, is this so bad? And I thought to myself, not really. I thought I would trade. We would both have doubled pawns on the f-file. But I wanted to have something else. So I wanted to kind of attack him on the queen side where his king is. So I launched b5. And it made sense to me. There are ideas of b4 to eject the knight at certain points. I'm not really considering rerouting. I don't think I can ever take the a pawn, but I was thinking to myself maybe. And again, he doesn't have a lot of moves for the knight if I am ever to land b4. If he keeps bringing his knights out wide, I feel like that's weakening possibly. Another thing, if I am ever able to trade off like this, where I have just long-term play, in open files, then I'm in good shape as well. So that's kind of what I was going for. And this is where he kind of shocks me. I wasn't considering this move at all. He plays knight d5. And the idea behind this is pretty obvious, and it's pretty strong. If free piece, take, he takes back, and my bishop has nowhere to go. It's dead everywhere. So basically, I would then lose the bishop. So my immediate reaction was, oh, shoot, did I miss this? Is this really good for white? And I thought, okay, I guess I could move to b7. He told me he was going to... I don't even know what he was supposed to do if I just moved to b7. He did tell me what his plan was here, although I forget it. I don't think it was b4. I don't know. But I then calculated that it looks like a flashy move that he played here. And this was my longest thing of the game. I spent 20 minutes in this position. And I then decided that actually, at the end of the line, where I take, and this is what happens, by the way, because I calculated this was just good for black. I take, he takes, and a lot of lines, my b-pawn's hanging. I then calculated a6 to basically support my queen side. He would then take my bishop, and I would take with the pawn. I thought in this position, I'm taking away the f5 jump because I have the pawn there. Yeah, so that's kind of, those are my calculations anyway. And I liked my position, to be honest, from that point. So that's what we do. That's exactly what we do. I go pawn takes. He plays e takes. I play a6 because I don't want this pawn to be hanging after the trades occur. He goes d takes, and not surprisingly, I go f takes. We reached this position where I thought his best move might have been bishop f4, but I then thought I'd get my pawns rolling. I'd play f5 with tempo. And I thought my pawns were kind of strong here. You know what I mean? This is pretty solid, to be honest. His knight is out of play. My bishop is centralized. And I have ideas of either bringing my rooks in or just starting to thrust the pawns forward. So I really liked my position here. And then my opponent blunders, which is great. Sometimes people just blunder, and he plays f4. And at this point, when he played that, I was like, wow, I'm winning the game. Obviously, I could play bishop to e3 check. He moves here. I just gobble it up. If he tries to chase me away, doesn't matter. I just drop the bishop to g5. The f-pawn is totally supported. And then I thought I saw something even better, and I just take back with the pawn. The reason why, obviously, if he takes, I then check him, I win the rook. He missed it the first time. Maybe he'll miss it again. But if he doesn't, I can actually start rolling my pawns up this way. And again, I can always support this f4 pawn if I want to retreat my bishop to d6. And because he's light square bishop, there's no way for him to stop it. So I would just basically get my rooks in. I thought I was basically winning here. However, my man blunders the second time. He misses it before. I play this within 2 seconds. He moves the king back. I take, and I fully expected him to resign from this position. I would, but he plays on. Kids play on like when they shouldn't. I would clearly didn't display good technique, but my mind, I was checked out at this point. He plays, so I'm just going to do a lot of the moves because I didn't really. I played rook a d8 because I was thinking that we basically, if we trade everything off, I have an easy win. If he tries to like avoid it, maybe I can basically scoot something in on the second, and I just easy win that way too. So I didn't really think that there was much that really needed to be discussed there. He plays c4. I calculate everything, and I think that like if he takes and I take and he takes, he gets like some activity. So I just shut it down b4. My idea is I can basically move the knight to c5. The only trick I was really worried about is knight to d4. I was spying this because then he has this fork. So I thought I needed to take that away, and I thought if I landed my knight to c5, I was in good shape. If he did this last move rather than b4, if he played it here, I was going to play, oops, certainly not that move. I was going to play rook h to e8. Just taking it away, and then obviously looking for like an e5 with the idea that this bishop is really strong. This pawn chain is strong in the middle of the board. I have my rooks exactly where I want them, and we just trade off everything, and it's going to be a very, very easy win. So, but he didn't do it. He played c4, and he didn't go for that trick, little cheapo. I played b4. He played king c2. He's trying to basically defend the d2 square. It's kind of all in vain. What do I do? Move 23. I mean, this game, pretty simple at this point. I play knight c5. Pretty obvious. I want to get the rooks off the board. If I can trade my rook for his rook, again, it's very simple mop-up duty. He stops that, or he prevents it for the time being, rook f1. Very soon, he basically said that he was just trying to play for a stalemate. And I was like, okay, whatever gets your goat. I played bishop h6. My idea here was pretty simple. I thought that there might be some tactics where basically I could maybe lose my piece. So I just wanted to prophylactically move it where I'm still basically occupying the d2 square. I figured if I had enough time to basically double my rooks, I was very easily winning. I also have an idea of like a5, a4. That's the other thing I'm playing for. He'll never be able to dislodge this knight. It's a superpowered knight, and oh, by the way, I have a full rook. So we don't really need to analyze too in-depth this game because, as you guys can tell, I won very, very easily. Made me feel good after kind of the slog the game before. I was like, do I suck? Do I suck? And he's like untangling his pieces. As he said, he had like no moves. I did not give him much. Play rook d6. He plays king b1 now. And in his own words, he's trying to like stalemate himself pretty soon. I play rook h to d8. He plays bishop c2. He's trying to get active. I'm fine with him taking this pawn. I told him I left this hanging for a long time because if he moves it, then we force the trade, and it's just, again, as we said, I'm pretty sure that like he should have taken the pawn according to the computer, but from a human, it's very easy for black to win once the rooks are off the board. To be honest, I mean it's pretty easy to win even with the rooks on. Like, let's be honest. So yeah, bishop c2. I played e5 here. Oh yeah, now I think it's time to get my pawns rolling. I'm now threatening e4, as you guys can tell. The knight is a beast. I put the rook on d6 to support the f6 pawn, so that it would be hanging in different lines. Again, everything is pretty winning. I'm playing pretty quickly here. I'm always astounded when they don't resign. He plays rook e1. It makes sense. He's trying to stop this advance. I don't want to trade this knight for the bishop. The bishop's worse than the knight. He would also want a pawn in that situation. I don't quite have mate, because he can maybe run out this way. I think he even pointed out that I had a few wins that I may have missed, but I'm going to be honest. I've been trying to save my brain power for when it matters, and this didn't seem like it mattered. Play a5. My idea is a4, it's supported, and then, b3 would win the game on the spot. His only real move is b3, and he plays b3. But he's like locked in. He's locked in a box. He told me that he thought I should have played bishop to d2 and then landed on c3 so that the king is forever imprisoned. And I think he's right. I kind of missed that idea. Again, I'd say my accuracy at this point, not the highest. Instead, I make a mistake. I go bishop g7. My idea was I wanted to start rolling my pawns. I thought I would support them, and I thought I would control this from a distance. But he's right. Maybe I should just attack that at this point. Whatever. Not like a big deal. We're going to quickly bit through this one because I have a whole other one to get to, as you guys can tell. And the other one is more exciting. He now plays knight h4. He's like threatening to come in. He said that, he's like, at this point I got a little excited that I had a little bit of a chances because you were leaving yourself a little bit, you weren't quite putting the finishing touches on it. And I said, yeah, it's a good call. The thing is, when he moves his knight away, he gives me the second row or rank. He can come in, and I should have actually just sacrificed this bishop, to be honest. But, I go rook d2. He plays g3. He's just giving me this pawn, like giving me everything. I thought I was basically going to just take the file, like double up. I just take on h2, thinking that, again, I'm going to slam the other rook, and like I'm just going to checkmate him, like simple as. He plays knight f5. Oh, this is the spot where I thought actually I was torn. At this point, I didn't even want to calculate. I didn't end up sacrificing the bishop. I think I should have. But I played bishop f8. Just because I thought it was more accurate, just to keep all the pieces on. Like, this knight doesn't do anything, and I'm going to come into this anyway. But he was saying he thought that the win was like this, and if I ever take, I obviously have this, with the idea that I have these checks, and eventually I will, with this idea. Basically, let's say he tries to move back, check, here, threatening mate, he moves over, and here, a mate like that, and he's absolutely right. Like, that's unavoidable. So I think that's, again, more accurate. I played back here, which lets him play knight e3, just like overprotecting. I still think it doesn't really matter. Oh, he's coming in here, and I should have allowed that. He said he was shocked I didn't just take the second and again just go for the win there. And I tanked for a little while here, and I should have seen that. No, the reason why is then he has this check anyway. So what I made peace with, in this position, I made peace that this kid was kind of like, crafty. That I was going to just sacrifice the rook for the knight because the knight was so annoying. So after a long tank, I went c6. He slams the knight to d5, and now I just take. And the reason why is when we play this position out, he has no counterplay. He will 100% lose this game. And again, probably from a computer-wise, was not the most accurate. Maybe in that spirit, giving him chances, but I just didn't think that there was any threat at all. I go king e6. I'm taking away these checks. I thought that he maybe should have tried to get active to play over here. He doesn't. He plays g4 first. His idea, obviously, is to check me, to try to make some sort of box. I play bishop d6. I thought this was a sensible move. I'm preventing him from coming in. He checks me anyway. Bishop f5 check. I move down to e7. It makes sense. I'm dodging all these checks. He has zero activity. I can kill off these pawns, and then eventually just kind of go hunting and push my pawns and win. And again, I'm trying to keeping it real, keeping it simple. He plays king c1. I play rook takes on a2. And he says that he was doing some acting here, like, oh, I can't believe I left it there. But he was telling me that at this point is where he's just trying to stalemate me. I said, all right, kid, it's not going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, all right, kid. Very well. He goes rook d5. I don't think this move did anything. So I play h5. My idea here is I'm just killing off the game. If he doesn't take, I'm just going to make a queen. I can also trade off there. He g takes h. He takes. I go rook takes. I'm attacking the bishop. He goes bishop c2. I go rook h2, just taking the file again. His king is completely cut off. It's very, very, very trivial. He goes back. He plays rook d1. I play e4. Again, I'm just trying to get this rolling. Yeah, how does this game end? It ends soon. Don't worry. Don't you worry. e4. He goes rook g1. I play e3. Because I'm not concerned about these checks. He plays bishop d7. No, that's not possible. He plays bishop d1. Sorry, bishop d1. I then saw a line, if I actually push e2, he actually has this kind of unpleasant move. rook e1, because then he actually will take the pawn off. So I can't quite push it yet. Because of that, I now play f5. My idea is I'm just going to push this pawn and queen and checkmate him. Bishop f3, he goes here. I play knight takes on b3. And this is where, actually, I realized after I did this that he got very excited. If you guys can tell, he actually is stalemated here if he can get rid of these pieces. So I realized that in this spot, and I thought to myself, oh, damn, I should, do something about that. I should probably, not allow, I should probably not, this is not a good idea for me to do. So he plays bishop e2, which is kind of clever, because if I take, he can basically check me and, sacrifice everything. We saw a way where I would be able to walk in, and then I would be able to take his rook with my knight, thereby unpinning the stalemate. So it wasn't really a stalemate, but I did see that. So I thought that the professional move here that ends the game, without any concern, is knight d2 check. And the reason why is now I can take this off, and there's just no stalemates whatsoever. So that's exactly what happens. He plays out till checkmate, which is fine. I go here. He plays. I stopped recording moves, but I think he goes here. I played takes. He goes king c1. I play here. Or maybe he played e7. I did that to put him in there. Anyway, the game ends here. I think he played in. Yeah, maybe rather than king c1, I think he played here. And I have him stuck, but he always has these two squares to go back to. I played here so that if he comes here, he can't ever run. And then I just queened. And that was game. All right, so that was game. Let's see. Definitely a shorter recap, only 30 minutes for me. It was a pretty easy win. I'm pretty happy about it, obviously, because chess is hard. Bouillon. So we started off, getting the win. Pretty good deal. I think I'll play my opponent. You guys just blundered. Let's see what the accuracy was. 85. By my standards, not a good game. I've said that anytime I play over 85%, I'm pretty happy. He just made the big blunder. I guess I just didn't finish it off that well, but if you look at the bar, it just didn't matter. I'm sure I had better wins, but this was not a super accurate game. 99% opening, nice. 89% mid game, not the best. Somehow, okay, do you guys see that? Somehow, 99% in the opening and 89% in the mid game only gets an 85% overall. That makes no sense to me, but whatever. Yeah, let's just very, very quickly. I don't think there was much to talk about here. This is all, again, theory. These are all the book moves. Look at that, book. Oh, my move is not right here. They think I should play h8. Well, let's turn on the computer. Oh, h6 is the right move? Huh. I thought super pawn is better. Yeah, it's difference of 0.1. I think my move is fine. And then when he trades, he didn't have to trade. He could have just maintained the tension. And, he probably should have. And again, it's, equal. But as soon as he trades and gives me the bishop pair, I knew I was slightly better. G takes. I'm not gonna blunder, knight takes. That's not happening. Oops, what's happening here? Okay, I know what the computer evaluation means. All right, so G takes. His best move in this spot is bishop b5. Yeah, I think that's what I was saying, right? To try to wiggle in here, because I can't play c6. He doesn't do that. Yeah, this is okay. Yeah, I'm pretty happy. I think I said that was the best move for my opponent here. I also think knight to b5 is pretty good too. No, it's not. Knight to b5 loses to bishop c5. Oh, same idea. Okay, right. All right, so the computer basically likes bishop b5, knight e1, with the idea probably of going to d3. Yeah, okay. All right. Nonetheless, this is an accuracy. Black is already a good deal better. I play bishop c5. And this is a very obvious move. I want to gang up on that pawn. I did think 8... Oh, wow. He plays the best move. Props to him. Knight d5 is the best move. Wow. Oh, no, okay. The moves are equal now. It's the kind of thing, this whole game, like when I was still thinking, it was a move that shocked me because I wasn't expecting it at all. It doesn't seem like it's any better. It is the best move in the position, but again, rook h to f1 I thought was kind of forced, which is also fine. But he did play, but like, yeah, but okay, it's clever. And I guess because I definitely could have made a mistake once he plays d5. They like, oh, they do like, I did make a mistake. Okay. The computer does like king c8 better rather than takes. Takes is just completely equal. So I actually did mess up here. Apparently this is better, king c8. And I would have earned a great Scott. And then if he follows up with like a4, do I play c6? Yeah, now I play c6. And this makes sense, guys. Follow along. In this position, we are maintaining the bishop pair. That's literally what it boils down to. Yeah, his knight looks clever there. Obviously now I'm threatening to take, so he has to move back. Knight e3 is also his only move. Because if he moves there, he's going to lose the pawn. And when he plays knight e3, I feel like I could trade. I could get away with trading. A lot of moves are good here. h5 is an idea I had. I thought h5, h4 made a lot of sense in a lot of spots. And here, I could just literally just move the king back, which is what I would do, by the way. And I've maintained the bishop pair. He doesn't have the threat of knight d5 anymore. And he's pinned down to defending this pawn by keeping his knight ahead of it. All right, yeah. I see how that variation is better. I arguably should have seen that, to be honest. Whoops. What is going on here? I don't want to do the game review. I just want an analysis. All right. So he lands rook h f1. Black is... Oh, that's if I was to play c8. Instead, he plays d5. And I did take, is the thing. I didn't play this. Wait. Oh no, that's way back here. I did play. Wait. Oh no, okay, that's not the spot. What am I talking about? I did play the best move here. Okay, whatever. Sorry. Did I lose myself? Lose yourself. Okay, they gave me a great move for that. Nice. Okay, so I did play the best move. All right, sorry. I was thinking about where he played the move that shocked me when I'd already played c6. Yeah, I'm a little bit tired, as you guys can tell. Now he plays rook h to f1. Now I play c6, which is the best move. All right, cool. He goes back. He needed to play to e3, apparently, here. I'm surprised that no. Or knight h4? Well, how do you figure? If you play knight h4 here, can I just... Oh, because I still can't take the knight. All right. And they want me to play f5 myself to remove the defender of the knight. Interesting. So a little bit tactical. Nonetheless, he plays back. They do finally like rook g8 in this position, apparently. Again, I was always thinking about it. Yeah, I was always thinking about it. They don't mind, king c8 is still quite good. In fact, now they're saying it's the best move, but I'm only going to get a good for it, even though it's the best move. Sure. All right, so I'm pretty happy with my move here. The computer already has me as, like, solidly better. He plays out wide. The computer does like his plan. Hg8. Yeah, they want me to move it over. So b5 is weakening. Because of the d5 check. Wow, look at that. He played a really good move. I did ask him if he was considering this sacrifice. He said no. For some reason, I thought that this might be decent. But it's not. Okay, it's terrible. Oh, right, he doesn't have this. I thought he might have... Okay, yeah, well, this is just defending. Okay, never mind. Right, okay. So he wasn't considering that. All right, nor should he. Wow, he plays the best move. In fact, the only move in the position that makes it still a game. Everything else, he's just much worse. And he plays knight. Good for him. I didn't see this move. Computer says... So this is what I meant as far as, that spot. So computer says king b7 is the best move. Just getting out of dodge. King c8 is good too. So this is where I could have just moved. Although taking is fine. Again, I spent genuinely 20 minutes in this position because I feel like this was the key moment of the game. Because it was a move that surprised me, but then I calculated it out, again the C takes, and it didn't look that bad for me. In fact, it looked good. The idiots, the little kittens are going wild. Anyway, he takes back, and they like B4 here. Although A6 is good. B4 is the same idea, because then the pawn's no longer hanging. It takes more space, but yeah, the two moves are basically identical, so that so nothing is hanging at the end of the exchanges. All right, so the computer does like my plan here. D takes, I go F takes, and yeah, my position seems solid here. They like G3 right away, and this is where he blunders, and like this is just... Although computer doesn't say it's game over after this, funny enough. That's funny. I mean, not that it should be game over, but I thought I was like winning after this. But the computer, if he didn't make that blunder, he'd be okay. E takes F4 is the best move. And then I play E takes F4, and they only give me a good. Now they're saying E4 is best. What? How is that possible for E4 to be the best move in this position? No. No. And they also like E check, but nonetheless, I take. Again, my thinking was he can't take, and I'm just going to bulldoze. And also, he missed the tactic before, he might miss it again. Like, that's literally it. He's got to play like A3. It's kind of a hard move to find. A3 with the idea of B4, I'm assuming. But he just blunders, and the game's pretty much over. We'll go through really quickly. Obviously, see this tactic. Yeah, centralizing the rooks is good. C4, they like B4 a lot. They like other moves too. I mean, everything is good though, so I don't need to think too hard about this. He moves his king in. I get nice C5. This looks like a great square. They like rook F1. I go H6. This is an excellent move. Cool. Plays back. Okay, they like this plan. Just seeing where I made like a mistake. I mean, it's -5. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, this game is over. I am way more interested in my next one. But we'll finish up the analysis real quick. How are we on time? 42 minutes. All right, this will be, for my standards, a shorter video. In fact, I probably could have made it even shorter than this. But I had to talk about the opening, what was going on. I get my pawns rolling. How does the computer not give me a higher accuracy? It looks like I actually played pretty well, right? Maybe because I don't know. All right, so we play A5. He plays B3. Oh, no, they do like this. They do like bishop G7. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter, but they do like bishop G7. E4 is even better. So somehow E4 is... Really? I thought E4 was not better because I thought he could genuinely just take. Why could he not just take? 1 second. What? Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh. One of the cats threw up. I had to clean it up. What's wrong with this? Oh, because I have this. I see. Okay, well, whatever. Don't think it matters much. H4, rook E2. I mean, I think at this point the computer doesn't care anymore because the game is just over, right? Yeah, they do prefer DD2. No. My move is better. They're both great. Yeah, I mean, he was... In the analysis, again, this is like not throwing shade. He was really going over like all these wins I had, and I was like, kid, I won the game 10 moves ago. You know what I mean? Like give me a break. You know what I mean? Like, these are all, yeah. Okay, computer does like the sack. I mean, this takes all the wind out of the position. I'm surprised that I don't have a higher accuracy because it seems like I played a good game actually. So what were my mistakes, I guess? Computer likes this. I like this. I mean, the game is over. Alright, I don't understand. Mate in 11. I should go e5. Bishop e5. Oh, because I have mate in 5 and... Well, no, I did mate him here. Okay, cool. And that's mate. So, alright, well... So that's the game. I'm gonna post... I don't have much to say about this one. So I'm... After 2 rounds, I'm 1 win, 1 draw. I'm in the running, at least in the hunt, if you will. What was the accuracy here? 85.3. How is it not higher? Computer says I made a mistake. And how is my rating, again, lower than my opponent's? It makes no sense. What the fuck? Alright, I'm going to post this one, and I'll get started on the other one.